So it seems everyone's jumping into bed with the wrong people. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Sistas. This is season 1, episode 5. A lot of bed jumping, honey, and you getting in there and you finding yourself that you're in there with the wrong folks. It's a problem. It's a real problem. Anyway, let's get started. So, we're back where we ended off. We got Gary and Andy standing there, and he's talking about he done brought all his stuff, and she's telling him, "You need to go back. You need to go back." He goes to running a guilt trip on her. Now, the two of them have officially started to get on my nerves completely. He is a whining, crying, groveling fool who I don't believe his wife lied when I just don't. I don't think she lied on him when she said that he is abusive. Something tells me that there's a streak in him that is physically abusive, but we already know that he's mentally abusive because you could just see it. The way he plays the manipulation game, yeah, he's mentally abusive. Very much so. He takes them and twists and bends them. I said, "You must got some good Peter." Because, well, that's pretty much Andy that said that because she's pretty much dick whipped, honey. But it's ridiculous. It just doesn't make any sense. Then, as she's going back and forth with him, and she tells him about her being happy and all of this, and he's like, "How do you know that?" And she's like, "You gave her that ring and this, that, the other." He's like, "How do you know that?" I said, "Girl, shut up. Shut up. You're doing too much." She ended up, he took her and sucked her in. She ended up telling him everything. And I'm like, "Are you stupid? Are you like everything? Please, you can't say anything. I could be disbarred. Why are you offering this information? You're getting yourself wrapped up and he's going to use it against you." I could just see it all in him. I said, "Oh, Andy, I can't even get, I'm really at a point now where I don't feel bad for Andy. Whatever Andy gets, she gets." Her and Karen, and I like Karen. I like Karen. I do like Karen. But Karen and Andy don't need to be close friends with each other because they both lead each other into the tunnel. Like, girl, they said there's vampires in there. Well, girl, go ahead on that. And when I get off work, girl, I'm going to go on that. They lead each other into darkness. It's like, y'all ain't good to be friends with each other like that. Y'all don't need to be close with each other like that because y'all are, y'all are both enablers. So no, y'all not good for each other. Anyway, let's move on. Speaking of Karen, Karen is actually going to work. Oh, wait, I'm going too fast. Karen is actually, we're at the restaurant, and I knew there was going to be some mess with this wife. Honey, the wife is not as detached as the husband. He's detached. The wife is feeling some kind of way. And she come over there, she's spilling all her guts and telling Karen, "Yeah, I know I messed up. I slept with his best friend. I know I was wrong, but see, he is really good at punishing you when he's mad." And he's like, "Why are you saying that? This, that, and the other." And Karen's like, "Look," she's like, "You know what? Y'all got this. This is too much." She's like, "I'm out." And she rolled out. But I was like, "Oh, that wife, honey, she is holding on." And old boy ain't as nice as what he says. I said, yeah, she did wrong, but you are like grinding and rubbing her face so that y'all not really detached. You're detached. She trying to make it work, and you are rubbing her face in it. That's some old me. Child probably do it. Anyway, moving on. I mean, what do you want? You don't play. And when it comes to games of the heart, I don't play them games. That's why I don't date. I told y'all that. I've been celibate for a very long time because I want to keep myself with my record being the way it is. Because I went through enough with a fool that I knew if I played those games, I said the next time somebody hurts me, I'm going to hurt them. So I just stay out of it. One day I might try to dance back in there, but every time I do a little dance, honey, I'll be like, mm-mm, and I find myself going into that dark corner. Last year, I went out on a couple of dates, honey, and I found myself in the dark corner. I said, we still just dating, child. Just a couple little dates. And I done went in the dark corner, baby, and I was ready to. Anyway, moving on. Sabrina and Calvin. So she's talking to him, and she says, you know what? So really, why are you single? And he told her, because of the same things that happen with you, I get prejudged. And that's why. But they had the good dinner. She apologized and all that. He actually told her a story about going to the prom where there was a girl, her mother wouldn't even allow her to go to the prom with him because he had two fathers or whatever. I'm like, child, that's the world. That's the way it is. Ain't nobody ever said life was fair. So that really softened her up. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. That's not the way things should be. You know, this and the other. Next thing you know, honey, they over at the sink. He's like, I'm going to wash these dishes. She's like, you don't have to do that. She's like, I'm gonna wash the dishes, but you can dry. Gets over there, honey, they're going back and forth. He literally just seduced her. He seduced her because she kept saying, he said, I want to stay. And she's like, no, you can't stay. You got to go. You know, it was starting to get a little hot, honey. A little hot. What? And he seduced her. The next thing you know, baby, he dropped down to his knees, honey, and unwrapped her dress, baby, and gave her, honey, and munched her box right in the kitchen, lifted her up, honey, and put her against the wall, honey, and she was giving, you can stay, you can stay, you can stay. I said, oh, tramp, honey. I understand. So that was that, baby. They ended up they were doing their little thing, honey, and made their way to the bedroom. And I said, people were making it into the bedroom with the wrong people. You've had all these questions about Calvin. You get into the bedroom, and she's peeling Calvin out of these clothes, honey. And she pulled his pants down. She was getting ready to service him, honey. And seeing these red lace panties, honey, I said, oh, baby, they were red lace, very fitted. They even had the seam in the crack, honey, with the little piece of elastic to make them grip the cheeks, honey. And they had little buttons down the back. I said, Calvin, listen, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. I get it. You metrosexual. I got it. You got the two fathers. You're very in touch with your feminine side. Too much so. Baby, the red lace panties, no, sir. I don't even know what made you think that red lace panties with the seam in the back and the little piece of elastic to make them cup the cheeks and little buttons down the back was acceptable on a date with a woman. You way into this too much. I said, oh. She pulled them pants down. She's like, and then she asked him, can we just go back to what we were doing before? He was like, sure. And he just continued eating her box for the remainder of the night. He ended up like staying there. He ate her for a while, child, for quite a while. It was giving honey loose ends. Honey, stay a little while, child. Honey, till she fell on out. And they were asleep. And he ended up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. She took and snuck and clicked a picture of him in them drawers, honey, and he never even took them off. I was like, oh, he never took them off. I said, oh, okay. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But he ended up getting up and leaving and going home. And I was like, wait a minute, I thought he was going to stay the night. But he jumped up and left at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh, that's cheap. Anyhow, whatever. I guess she was ready for him to go anyway. She couldn't go to sleep. She laying up there with him, honey. She was regretting it because after she popped off, honey, she's like, "Chuck the sissy out my bed, honey," and that's what it was given. Shady. Anyway, she need to leave that relationship alone because she's going down a road. It's gonna end ugly. Anyway, moving on. So Danny and Zach. This is bad. This is bad because she has no boundaries. She's literally got it rigged up and she's in there watching him in the bathroom. He done took a shower and he over there putting on lotion and care. Child, Zach. I said, what is good? Child, he's together. He's thoroughly together. And I said, look, he don't have a piece of hair nowhere on his body. He was just smooth. I said, oh, that's something. But he's tatted up. I said, okay, fuck. All right, whatever. It was going on in that bathroom, but she was in there, honey, watching on her phone, honey. And she had the computer up in the bathroom. And she's looking at, she's talking to him. And she's saying things. And he's like, how do you know I got, and child, he seen the computer and closed it up and went out there, was cussing her out. Then he ended up having her, she's smoking weed. You know, she got one of them pens. She got a medicinal weed, and she's over there. So he's like, how do you do this at work and don't get in trouble? She's like, I got you, I got you. If anybody stop you, if so and so stop you, just sit on me, and you know I'll blackmail him like I've been. This, that, that. I was like, oh my god, she just bad news. He ended up smoking this weed. He walk around. Next thing you know, he dancing. He high as Cooter Brown, honey. High as a kite. I said, a mess. She's bad news. Anyway, we'll get back to them in a minute. Moving on. Karen and Andy. Karen used her key to get in Andy's apartment. She gets in there, and the two of them are standing, her and Gary standing there. So she ends up, he's saying, do you want me to leave? This, that, thing, and the other. And she won't say yes. So Karen said, can you just go and take a walk? He's like, I want her to answer for herself. She said, no, I need you to go take a walk. I've known her for a long time. Trust me. You need to go take a walk and then come back. So he went and got a couple of drinks and came back. And this is why I say Karen and Andy don't need to be friends with each other, because this was the time that Karen should have told him, send his ass home or wherever. He needs to be away from you. You got it all figured out. The wife done went back and you done broke up with him and you're done with it. Everything cool. But you need to know, if things don't work out, she done already told you you've been chosen as the divorce lawyer. So she gonna come back and see you. And it ain't even about if things don't work out, when things don't work out. Because remember, we done seen them in the airport, and that was not the wife in the airport. That's another woman. Now, they don't know nothing about that, but we know. So, like I said, when it doesn't work out, she's gonna come back. Andy, you about to screw yourself, but whatever. So Karen's telling her girl, he's here, deal with it from here and now. Totally bad advice. Totally bad advice. Y'all sitting around making up reasons in your mind to okay you sleeping with these married men. The two of you whores need to quit. You whores are no good for each other. But anyway, and she says she really loves him, and I feel like shit. And you should. And you should. When you started in, you didn't know, but then you found out shortly thereafter, and you're playing the game, and you know better. And remember, karma is a black ball-headed bitch. What comes around, goes around. You're going to screw yourself, and you know it. Down in your core, you know it. So like I said, I ain't gonna feel bad for you, baby. She'll be back. And you're gonna get stung in the midst of all that mess. Anyway, moving on. So Sabrina and Calvin. Let's go back over there. Like I said, she took the photo. He left and went home. She sends the photo to Danny, of all people. Danny is sitting there, and Danny looks at the photo and says, "Girl, see, I knew you was lying, whore. You got your ass done. And it looks great, girl." She's like, "That is not me. That's him." Danny gets to laugh. She said, "I know you don't put me on mute. You laughing." Cracking the hell up. Cracking the hell up. Anyway, so she's laying there and she's talking to her. She says, she gets to explaining, and this is when we found out that he never actually got like a hard on or anything. So she don't even know what the meat is given or anything like that. He just munched her, and I was like, okay, interesting. And he left one out. It was all about these lace panties. I was like, girl, again, you need to let this whole thing go. You need to let it go. Period. So literally the next day, Sabrina actually ended up having a conversation. Oh, she's telling her, don't tell nobody. She's like, girl, I already sent the picture to the other ones, child. I sent it when you sent it to me. A mess. When she went to work the next day, she talks to Maurice. And Maurice basically confirmed to her, because she showed him the picture but didn't say who it was. And he confirmed the panties were suspects. He said, "Oh, I got them." He's like, "Oh, you know, but that's for a flap for easy access." I said, "Oh, child." So put that out there. That basically was those panties were suspect, and um, he was telling her that she needs to get over whatever it was that she was, all her little reservations, and that he's a good man. Because it's like, what do you mean he didn't get hard and all of this? And it's like, girl, that's because he's a good man. He just weren't worried about pleasing you. So I mean, he was literally selling her on Calvin, but then with the panties, he didn't know he was cutting it back. I was like, this is a whole mess. I think she just needs to leave it alone. This is gonna blow up in her face because you looking real messy right now. Very messy. You're confused. He blew your box out and you are confused. You still have these issues. Anytime you have these many issues about a man's sexuality, you need to leave the man alone. Because maybe he not gay, maybe he ain't suspect, but he not for you because you got all these hangups. So you need to leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Anyway, so Andy and Gary, we find out. He come back. He done had some drinks. And he a little loose at the lips. And this is where things really got into perspective. And this is when I really said, Andy, you're a whole stupid individual. Whole stupid. We found out he has no prenup. Okay? So his wife is going to rake him over the coals whenever there is a divorce. She got 2 kids by him. She going to rake him, okay? He literally starts talking. And I said, oh my God, he's trying to work you. He's trying to work you. He don't even like you. He don't want you either. See, and I've seen this happen in real life. Okay, let me tell you a little story. I ain't gonna get into, well, yes, I am. Listen, I had a girlfriend that slept with a married man. She was best with a married man. And it was all the same thing about how he was gonna leave. And I kept saying, dumb bitch. He's not. Let me tell you what happened. When he did leave the wife, he left the wife, and there was another girlfriend, very much like this situation. He didn't choose my girlfriend. He basically was playing the 2 of them, and he never did link up with my girlfriend like he was supposed to link up with my girlfriend. He played them both, and then he ended up going on about his way. And you never got out of it what you wanted, and you were looking stupid. And I'm just a decent friend, so I didn't give you told you so, bitch. I just kind of sat in quiet and laughed like Reagan on The Exorcist, honey, when it was going down, when you were running around with an attitude like, oh, he cheated on me. He didn't cheat on you because he wasn't your man. He's married. He used you. He didn't cheat on you because he didn't owe you shit. He was married to the other woman. I sat around in quiet and laughed like this, like Reagan on The Exorcist, because I told you to leave that shit alone. Anyway, back down off my soapbox, but boom, 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 bam it, and let's move on. This is gonna blow up in your face. Anyway, he's trying to work. You had the nerve to say something to her about repping. Maybe you could go ahead and rep her in the divorce and basically screw her in the divorce so he'd be okay. And he made the comment, whatever she takes from me, she'll be taken from us. And she like snapped out, was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this to me." She turns around and she's like, "Good night." And he's like, "Don't do that, don't do that. I'm sorry, I've been drinking. It's the bourbon speaking." No, it ain't. He's going to play you both of you. He's over there. He's gonna bang you out, give you the good pain, have you screw his wife, and then whoever the bitch was that was in the airport, he'll be with her anyway. But that's on you. I don't feel bad for you, Andy, because you're stupid. And you stupid. Anyway, moving on. Zach and Danny. Zach done got all high up, got over there down at the bottom of Danny's bed and talking to her, and he gonna keep saying, "Girl, you so chocolatey and so soft." And this, that, and the other. She gonna say, you oh, stop it. She gonna say, "You too high. Give me that pen. And you go ahead, you better get on out of here. Cause it's gonna go down." Didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I tell y'all? A mess. And then he start teasing her and picking at her and hurting her feelings. He kept telling the truth, like, "Girl, you're ridiculous. Like you're ridiculous." And the way you say stuff is just so funny. And then he hit her with the 1-2 punch, honey, with that old high truthful shit. See, drunken hide up mouths speak truth. And he told her things could have been different if you hadn't always been cracking on me and wanting to be ripping and carrying on, and if you hadn't passed me off to your friend, things with me and you could have been totally different, because you don't even realize that you're beautiful and you're so chocolatey and sexy and all. I said, "Oh," and she was sitting there and she was feeling some kind of way. Some kind of way. And he told her, he said, "I know you be putting up this wall because you're really lonely. You're really lonely, but you messed up with me by passing me off because I was feeling you, but you was like playing me and cracking on me and making me look like I'm a joke. Then you just gonna pass me off to your girlfriend. But I'd have blew your back out." I said, "Oh." And she'd have seen him up in the bathroom and told him just as nice, "I like that turtleneck. Show me that turtleneck." I said, "No, she did." Now you ain't never gonna see it. He was that high. He was high enough to know that you basically hurt his feelings. He was feeling you, and you hurt his feelings and passed him off. And now you really want the bird, and he ain't willing to give it to you. I said, "Oh, girl, that's pretty bad, honey, because you know how men are trying to get a bird to anybody, honey. You hurt his feelings." Anyway, I was like, "Yeah, that ain't a good idea for him to be living there, John. That's a whole mess." And she was feeling some kind of way. She crawled up in there. That's the most quiet I ever seen her. That's the quietest I've ever seen, Danny. I said, "Oh, we got you in your feelings." Anyway, girl, if you're living for the moment. Stupid. Anyway, so Karen is going to work. Baby, the next thing you know, she's getting ready to open a salon. Honey, the wife that ambushed her. I said, "Wait a minute, honey. Wife is giving you single white female stalker tease, honey." Got her in there, baby, and told her, "Listen, I'm not trying to lose my husband. He is mine, bitch." And she's begging her. She told her, "Listen, please leave him alone. Just don't answer his calls. Leave my husband alone." And told her, "And I'll make a deal with you. Give me 6 months to fix it." Because the woman knew, like, she's like, "I'm not messing with him. I don't want nothing to do with it." She's like, "He likes you, bitch. He likes you, and I see you, bitch, and I got a high heel shoe in my purse for your forehead, bitch." She didn't say that, but that's what she meant. She was talking to her in single white female code, honey, and that's what it meant. Is, "Bitch, you see this bag right here? Bitch, I got a 6-inch spike in here, bitch. And there's an X on your forehead, bitch. If you don't leave my husband alone, bitch, I'm gonna give you something, bitch." I tell you all the time, it ain't what's being said, it's about what's not being said, baby. In the forehead, bitch. You won't leave my husband alone. And she told her, she said, I'll make a deal with you. You give me 6 months. And if I can't fix this, I'll bring him to you myself. But you need to give me the 6 months to try to fix my marriage and leave my husband alone. Don't accept the phone calls, and bitch, you better not call him. I said, oh, run, you in danger, Karen, girl. Anyway, I was worked, honey. I said, oh my. Anyway, so um, Karen and Andy get together again, and sure enough, they giving each other the same bad advice, honey. Both of them. This time, Karen's telling Andy, girl, go for it, whatever. Andy telling Karen, girl, you should go for it. You should go for it, girl. You don't want to be like me and end up being the rebound chick. And she's like, yeah, like me, she's all sad and all this old stupid stuff. I said, girl, just shut up. Y'all both need to get away from each other. Y'all are enablers and y'all are not helping each other. Last thing. Miss Andy goes to work. She gets to work. She's looks and she sees the wife. Because if she says something's up, it's weird. I haven't heard from her at all. Like I haven't heard from the wife. And he done left and all that, and I haven't heard from her. She says something's up. She goes into her job. She looked in the conference room. Her boss and a couple other partners are in there. The wife is in there crying. So Andy goes on by, skedaddles to her office. There's a woman comes to get her, an assistant comes to get her and tells her, your boss said come to the conference room immediately and bring your things with you. I said, oh, I'll see y'all next week. Again, ugly, but I don't feel bad for you. Nope.